Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us for Comics from the Future. This is our weekly show that we do every single Friday where we're going to go over the newest, hottest, upcoming comics. We're going to tell you a little bit about what to expect out of new series, some ongoing stuff, and all the cool variants that you can open order right here, right now. Hopefully we give you some info to help you out with your ordering process. So in case you don't know, my name is Megan.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Jason. We're with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
That's right. And before we get started today, if you guys would take one little second and go down and hit subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are growing, and we have so much good stuff planned. So let's grow this little community of ours. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be alerted when we put out new videos.
Join our YouTube army. We will take it back from all of the tweens.
Unless you're a tween watching, and then we welcome.
Yeah,
We
sure.
accept you. We
Yeah,
accept
you're a
you.
junior member.
All right, guys. So let's get rolling.
So first off is our featured comics. Some big one this week. Starting with Batman Fear State Alpha. So this kicks off the hotly anticipated Fear State event that really they've been building to since Infinite Frontier Zero.
Yep.
And, I mean, a lot of James Tynion's run, a lot of stuff is coming into play with this. So this is the first part. It's just a one-shot by James Tynion and Riccardo Federici, which is cool because he's been doing a lot of the variant covers, but he's actually doing the interior art on this as well. This cover's by Ben Oliver. And in this, it's kind of like the culmination of everything that's been going on. So you have Batman and family right at the center of both Scarecrow, who is trying to fulfill his master plan in Gotham, because what he says, you can only evolve and grow through fear, kind of being broken down and rebuilding and overcoming your fear. And on the other side, we have Peacekeeper 1 and Simon Saint and the Magistrate. And to add to that, this is also going to introduce the Anti-Oracle. So a new villain. I feel like there's going to be a lot of typing matches between Barbara Gordon and the Anti-Oracles. They try to send viruses to each other or something. So you have that. It's a mysterious character. We don't know who it is yet. Along with the return of Poison Ivy to Gotham. So we've been kind of settling through a bunch of different books following Poison Ivy since she kind of disappeared, I think, in the Harley Quinn Poison Ivy miniseries. And then she's popped up in Catwoman. She's popped up in different stuff with kind of a different attitude. And we're going to see what does this mean for her now to come back to Gotham. I feel like after Fear State, we may see a lot more of Poison Ivy. So this is a 40-page one-shot, kind of a must-read if you're reading the Batman books. And also, this is going to kick off a lot of new... It says a few new titles and storylines, but one title for sure, it's going to be kicking off the new I Am Batman, the Jace Fox Batman that becomes Batman in Future State and all that. That's going to come out maybe, I think, the week after this or right around it. Mm-hmm. So very exciting. You'll definitely want to pick this up if you are reading Batman.
Yeah, I mean, I read the latest issue of Batman, and Scarecrow is a big part of it. Mm-hmm. In a lot of ways, he kind of takes over.
Yeah.
So if you haven't read your Batman, go read that real quick, because you'll see exactly why they need a Fear State one-shot following what's going on in there.
So we got one variant for it. This is the Dylan Teague variant with Peacekeeper 1 there, looking like he's got hit a couple of times by Batman.
His hair is all nice and feathered.
I know, it's a little like Pennywise. I don't know, It's kind of creepy.
Yeah. Okay, so a big one for Marvel. Dark Ages, this long-promised event that got delayed and delayed.
Since last Free Comic Book Summer.
Correct, yeah. Last Free Comic Book Summer, they did a preview for it, which was very cool. So pretty much it says the lights go out in the Marvel Universe. What does that mean? Definitely the electricity goes out. It looks to me, if you read the preview, like all of technology quits working. I mean, Iron Man in the preview literally falls out of the sky and is gravely injured. So it appears to me like some kind of cosmic force They say it's older than Earth, has made all technology quit working in the Marvel Universe. And this, of course, changes what heroes and what powers are more or less important.
Mhm.
I think we're going to probably end up seeing Tony Stark, Iron Man with like pulleys and maybe steam powered. I don't know. I'm excited to read it though. I mean, Tom Taylor is awesome. So the other thing this says is Marvel says it is what the Watcher has been watching for. And it's like,
Wow.
I always thought the Watcher was there to record things. I didn't know he was waiting for something, but, you know, I think that's cool that they're trying to blow this up that big. Another thing I like is this is not going to bleed into other books. Now, I have not been able to get confirmation if this is canon or not. That's one problem. Like, we're on a retailer forum with Marvel people, and they have been asked, is this canon? And they are tight-lipped. They will not say. So I don't know either if this is canon or if this is a what-if story. There's no way to know until we start reading it. But I think the premise sounds great. Ivan Coella is doing the art. Of course, Tom Taylor doing the writing. I'm on board. So it's just 6 issues. You don't have to worry about buying 1,000,000 one-shots that come out for it. It's just sort of its own thing. From what I've also seen in the art, it looks like Apocalypse might be one of the big bads. And, you know, he's kind of been sort of neutral in the X-Men books. He's almost been cast as like an anti-hero. So it'd be neat to see him return to his sort of evil form. So this is the regular cover. And then we have the black blank variant. Get your favorite artist, get one of those colorful gel pens and draw whatever you want on there. Or just stare at it and imagine what's coming out of the void. Then we have the Patrick Gleason.
A lot brighter.
Yeah. Just featuring Spider-Man for some reason by himself. Here's the INHYUK Lee variant with some of the heroes that we'll be seeing in this. And lastly, we of course have the Scotty Young.
I thought it was interesting on the last one that Johnny Storm is on there. And if you think if all the lights go out, he can guide you.
Light things up.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So I think that's a pretty smart character choice. It's cool to see, like, well, a lot of villains that were really big, now you realize, well, their stuff was technology-based, and characters like Spider-Man that's, like, genetic, it's like, well, now he can take over.
Yeah, I think I saw Daredevil on one cover, and it's like, Daredevil would be great in this, because he doesn't care about light.
Yeah.
So.
Really cool concept.
Yeah.
All right, next up is part 3 in Peach Momoko's amazing Demon Days saga. It's going to be a 5-part series, as we all know, but it was, I don't know, originally we did not think it was going to come out as slowly as it did, but it's coming out, it's still sooner than we thought. It's not quite quarterly.
Yeah, they originally said quarterly, and I feel like we've gotten a little bit faster than that.
Sooner than that, but this is the 3rd installment, like I said. Demon Days Cursed Web. We're going to follow Mariko into the forest where she is trying to discover out about her past, but there are also things hunting her as well. So Demon Days has been a really great storyline so far. It's all one-shots, but they loosely connect together. And it's, you know, it's lighthearted enough with still being some, you know, dangers lurking there. You still feel like something's on the line, I guess. But these have all been really satisfying. Of course, the art is so beautiful. So looks like we have Mystique here and perhaps Spider-Gwen. All these reimaginings of these characters have been super cool to see. So, you know, just the next Demon Days installment. Don't get distracted by the fact it doesn't say number 3 on there. It is number 3.
Yeah, that's a good thing to note. Like, if you told your local store, put me on pull for Demon Days, it doesn't work like that when they're all number 1s. Sometimes even that, it won't even find it in the system. So you've got to be specific every time one of these comes out to tell them you want the next one.
Yeah, it does not hurt to do that. So, all right, well, let's look at some of the covers of this. The first one is really gorgeous. There's also a poster of this one. This is an A cover. And then we have the Jenny FRISON variant. I saw Peach Momoko sharing this around.
Yeah.
So on her Instagram, it looks really good.
Doing her version of Mystique in this world.
And then we have the GARBOWSKA variant. Little baby-fied everybody. And then the Ron Lim cover. And then the YOON variant. So a few for you to choose from or get them all. But yeah, next installment of Demon Days.
All right, another one shot from Marvel. This is Last Annihilation, Wiccan, and Hulkling #1. So I stated this is just a one shot, a one and done. So the Last Annihilation storyline has hit the Kree and Skrull alliance, and because of that, Wiccan and Hulkling actually have to go their separate ways because there are two planets that need defending, and well, there's only two of them. So one ends up on one planet, the other ends up on the other planet, and of course, that's not optimal for them. They like to do things together, and so they have to defend these planets against the mindless armies of Dormammu. So that is sort of the premise there. And we also have a second cover for this. This is the Lopez variant. You get that Dormammu in the background.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah. He should stop bugging the heroes and go do something about his son who's over in Strange Academy.
Yeah, pay his tuition or something.
That's right.
All right, next up is a brand new ongoing series from Mirka Andolfo, actually. This is a new Red Sonja. It's going to be, like I said, ongoing. If you don't know who Mirka Andolfo is, do you even read comics? But no, she does a lot of stuff, but you probably remember her most from Sweet Paprika that just came out, Mercy, Unnatural, and she's done a lot of work for DC as well, so she is all over the place. But new ongoing Red Sonja series. This is going to take place in a village that has been set afire, and only one survivor is a girl with mysterious white tattoos. So she becomes Red Sonja's travel companion. So, yeah, pretty interesting. I think it's a good start for people who have never really read any Red Sonja before, see Mirka Andolfo's take on it.
I like when they take an artist or a writer or something and like give them a series. It's like, okay, reinvent this for us in your own kind of image. So this is really cool.
Maybe a whole new audience.
Yeah.
For this. So yes, this is our A cover by Mirka Andolfo herself.
That is quite a curvy sword.
And then we have the B cover. This is the ANACLETO variant. And it wouldn't be a Red Sonja series without a LINSNER variant.
Yep.
And then we also have the DURSO variant.
LINSNER has a good contract with
Dynamite,
I'm guessing.
Yes, airtight contract.
Next up is one that, the elevator pitch for it is fantastic. It is about a cursed DVD rental kiosk. And,
That's great.
I mean, what more do you need to say? Other than, it's funny, I was going to all these different sources trying to find, and every place I went, I got a little bit more clues to, like, what's going on in this. So, what I've pieced together is, it is a small town called Lost Turkey, and their main source of entertainment is like, I know they're trying to avoid saying Redbox, but it's essentially a Redbox, probably at a Walgreens. And there they have the movies they rent span all different genres, but when the people watch the movies, it kind of reflects kind of a mirror version of the people's lives, but in the genre of whatever movie it is. So it says, like, so the movies are like Pixar or superheroes or like high action stuff. The art is also going to reflect the different versions of that. But when people watch these, of course, it drives them mad, like any good like Lovecraftian thing does. You can't handle it, and it throws this town into turmoil. So it sounds really cool. I like the idea of, maybe each issue we get a different movie and we see how that affects the people in kind of a twisted version of something that may be familiar. So, sounds really cool. This is our A cover. And then we have the HOWELL variant cover.
Sometimes when I hear a title and you can tell somebody you just like change the, they're sitting, in their car waiting for somebody to buy something from the Red Box and like, Red Box, Deadbox, yeah. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's a little too easy, but somehow this one just fits.
Yeah,
like, this one calls to me. It's an updating of that classic trope that you can get pulled in the TV, that your entertainment can affect you.
Yeah, and this is by Mark Russell, who, of course, is a very interesting writer, doing stuff all the way to Exit Stage Left, the Snagglepuss story that he did for DC. He's done a lot of great stuff and always has a very interesting perspective on a lot of things. So
Okay, so our last featured comic is one that is a little hard to describe. It is called Corset by Scout Comics. I would love to hear the elevator pitch on this because here's the premise that I gather. So it has to do with this world famous fashion designer who is particularly famous for designing these really fancy, ornate corsets that people are sort of obsessed with. Well, what happens when his latest fashion show gets ruined by a young woman, who I think we're seeing her back on the cover here, which makes sense because, of course, corsets are fastened around the back. Um,
As you
what,
know, as you have a lot of
I'm
experience.
well aware of. So what happens when she ruins his show? He apparently, instead of getting mad, he invites her to his dark castle to reveal his secrets to her, but he also requires something of her first. And I mean, I've read about this, and that's everything I gathered. So yeah, fashion designer, corsets, girl ruining his show, invites her to his dark castle to reveal secrets, but she has to do something for him first. Sounds a little strange.
Yeah.
So that's I hope I did the best job I could describing this book, but that is what it is about. We see the O is a cog, so I'm assuming this is going to be a bit steampunk, turn of the century. That kind of goes with corsets.
Mm-hmm.
So it has. Well, we don't have the cover for it, but this is being released oddly, also in Prestige Edition. So it's going to be the same book, but it's going to cost $2 more, and it will be magazine size. So I think they're really counting that the art is going to blow people away. I've not gotten to see the interiors of it to say. All I've seen is the cover. But there you have it.
All right, who wants to introduce this section?
Whoever goes next.
All right, I'll do it. Okay, this is other number ones. This is just some stuff that we're not quite featuring, but we just want you to be aware of. Maybe some annuals and some good stuff like that. So stuff to put on your radar. And speaking of annuals, here we go. Green Lantern 2021 annual. So as you can probably very well tell by the cover, Jessica Cruz has gone from overcoming fear to using it as a weapon, and she is now being offered a place on the Sinestro Corps. So will she accept it?
This is cool. I reviewed the last issue of Green Lantern on our Tuesday show, and I didn't want to reveal like who the mysterious...
You didn't reveal because this is the first I'm seeing.
Yeah,
I remember what you said.
But it kind of plays... Yeah, I mean, it's easy to figure out when you read the last issue of Green Lantern, but I think this is really cool that even when you read her in there, she has a very different take. You know, Sinestro is all about like being cocky and like using fear in certain ways, but Jessica Cruz has lived with fear, you know, with like extreme anxiety, and she didn't leave her house for years. That she has like a calm version of fear of like, I overcame this and I'm controlling it. And, you know, with so many Green Lanterns, I think this is one to keep an eye on, that she could become the new leader of the Sinestro Corps, or that could just be like the new thing for her.
Yeah. Nobody has really risen through the ranks to challenge Sinestro like this.
Yeah.
So it's making sense. The pieces are fitting.
Now that we have Joe and Teen Lantern, I think it's cool if like maybe, you know, Jessica Cruz switches to being a different Lantern and kind of corrects them.
All right, we also have the David Nakayama variant for this annual as well.
Really nice.
Yeah, that's a great variant. I think a lot of people are going to be ordering that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Next up, Harley Quinn Annual 2021. So this is going to be an issue from the perspective of her sidekick Kevin, the great neck tattooed Kevin. If you read the book, you know how funny his smiley face neck tattoo is. But so in this one, there is a new villain in Gotham called Keepsake, who has, as you can see on the cover, captured Harley Quinn and is trying to force her to be his sidekick. Which, I mean, if you can imagine Harley Quinn, she's probably kind of done being anyone's sidekick. After
sure.
Joker, she may be okay being Batman's. She understands how that works, but
I don't think Batman will be okay with
no,
that.
Batman's not okay with that one. But in this, now Kevin must try and save her, and he teams up with Solomon Grundy to do that. So it sounds really fun. Sounds like we're gonna get a really funny pair up of those two. But also, to do that, they have to confront Gotham's worst criminals to find out where this new villain is. The solicitation also says, plus they tease a new Bat villain, and I don't know if they're referring to Keepsake or if there's a new big Bat villain also that's going to be in this.
Interesting.
So the wording was weird. It's hard to tell if they meant what they said earlier or if there's another new character in it. But this is by Stephanie Phillips, and David LaFuente is doing the interior art as well. And then we have, of course, the awesome Derek Chu variant. He's been killing with these. Mm-hmm. So nice.
All right, so another annual from DC is Midnighter's 2021 annual. I bet you didn't know Midnighter had a series going. So funny enough, he kind of did. So if you go back to Future State, which wasn't that long back, he was the backup story in the Superman Worlds of War. Mm-hmm. So this concludes that. So if you read that and you were wondering, well, what happens to Midnighter after all that? That's what this annual is about. At the same time, this is a time-traveling story. They call it a time-traveling escapade. That's when there's too many details to...
I'd say there's only certain times you use the word escapade.
Correct, yeah. Too many details, call it an escapade. And it says that this is going to also lead into Superman and the Authority somehow. So, yeah, that struck me as interesting. And we have a variant cover for that by, I don't know this artist's name is ACO? ACO?
Yeah. I think he's done a lot for Marvel.
Okay. But this is a good one to know about because if you want it, you probably need to ask your store. I don't see stores picking up a whole lot
I know
of this.
Midnighter has appeared in some backups in Superman or Action Comics. I can't remember which one. But a store probably won't naturally, it's not like you're getting Superman, so they'll give you the Superman annual. This will be one that you'll probably have to ask for or hope it's on the shelf, but definitely help them out by asking for it.
That is what the show is all about.
All right, next up is the Batman Superman 2021 annual. Lots of annuals this week. This seemed really cool. So as you can probably tell from the cover, it is flipped. This is going to be, of course, double size, but 2-in-1 story that meets in the middle. So Batman and Superman, both their homeworlds are in decay, and they are fighting to save them. And so you can flip over one side, read Batman's story, flip over the other one, read Superman's, and it is supposed to meet in the middle and all sort of converge together. So really cool concept that they're doing, and it makes sense with
or you could lay it down like this, pull it open, and then like go back and forth reading each page at a time until you reach the exact center, if you're a crazy person.
We'll have to quiz our customers on which one they read first, the Batman story or the Superman story.
So yeah, this is a really cool concept. And then so that was the A cover. This is the Francisco Francavilla B cover.
That's interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing this one in person.
Yeah.
You know, there's only so much you can kind of see on the image on the computer. Or this in person might look really, really good.
It's also interesting. So technically Batman is the cover, and then the backside is Superman. It's probably a hard decision to make. At some point, the title has to go one direction.
You're right. Yep. And look at that. So you got Gotham has the moon, and of course Superman, Metropolis has the sun.
That's really
powers him.
Next up, another annual, Suicide Squad Annual 2021. This one is exploring Superboy, who is on the Suicide Squad. He's the only hero, technical hero, on the team. And in this, he infiltrates the Task Force X Black site. Like a super secret Task Force X facility where he is going to uncover horrible secrets about himself. And you can tell in this cover, looks like there's a lot of Superboys in jars. Yep. So is he even the real Superboy? And it says the truth behind what he finds is going to kind of shake his origin and really make him question where his loyalties lie and should he be on this team. It's a funny thing because we already know there are multiple Superboys, you know, with Jonathan Kent and everything, and if you just open up a room and there's like 200 more, it makes you feel a little less special.
Yeah.
So this is the A cover. And then we have the Perel variant where you see Him up against the classic '90s Reign of the Supermen Superboy.
All right, from Marvel, here is the one-shot Kazaar Marvel Tales. So these Marvel Tales, they have new covers on them, but really they are collections of older works. Like this collects Marvel Fanfare number 1 through 4. And a lot of times it's meant to reintroduce characters that Marvel's going to do something with. Now, I think this is particularly interesting because Kazaar is one of the characters that there's a lot of rumors floating that may get introduced to the MCU or Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Kazaar, and the good thing is if you bring in Kazaar, you get the whole Savage Lands. That's a whole other environment where a lot of things happen in that throughout Marvel history. And we know that when it comes to these shows and the movies, they really dig deep. They don't necessarily go for just the big characters. They go for the characters all through wherever. So these one-shots, they typically, so this is going to be quadruple size. They're usually about $9.99.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, because they cost so much and technically the reprints, we retailers do not order a lot of them. It's mostly special order. So if you want this, please ask whoever you buy your comics with. And just the one cover.
All right, this is Beauty All Good Things. It is a one-shot, and if you guys are probably familiar with this, so Beauty was an ongoing series, started a few years back, actually. It was about an STD that would make you beautiful, but it also caused extremely bad effects on you.
Your head would blow up.
Yeah, you could see that in all the covers, like these cracks that started to form. So not great, but still a lot of people chased after wanting to have the perfect body, the perfect face, and all that, and it was very deadly. So it never had an official ending. So this is the one shot that is going to showcase the finale. So if you were reading that series and want more from it, or if you just want a one-shot that pretty much sounds interesting to you, this is just a standalone issue. It is Beauty All Good Things, another one that will probably not be heavily ordered.
Because it's also been so long since the last issue of this came out. Probably a lot of stores don't still have the information on who was on pull for Beauty. So if you were, maybe remind your store, like, hey, I was getting that back when it came out. I want to get this one as well.
Yeah.
Next up is new from Dark Horse. This is Last Flight Out. And this is by Mark Guggenheim, who I know did a lot of work. He worked a lot with DC, and he was also one of the writers on Arrow. But in this, the Earth is left uninhabitable, and humanity is taking these arcs out into space to live. It's kind of a classic story. But within the last 24 hours before the last arc's going to leave, the arc's designer's estranged daughter goes missing. And it's kind of a race against the clock to try to find her and also, you know, kind of be a redemption arc for the father as well. So, sounds like a really interesting story by a really good writer. And, yep, new from Dark Horse.
All right, so this is Almost American, a new Aftershock book. This is the #1 by Ron Mars. This is based on the real-life exploits of some real-life Russian spies. So that's pretty cool when, you know, they do a fiction work, but they try to base it as much as possible. But when it comes to spies, you know, some of that stuff's classified, some of it's leaked. What can you believe, what can you not believe? So these Russian spies, they went to the Dominican Republic and they defected there in exchange for revealing secrets. And as this is all going on, of course, America, we wanted them. We wanted these Russian secrets. But the FBI and the CIA started getting into fights over who had what jurisdiction. Meanwhile, the Russians sent killers after them. So it sounds pretty thrilling. So if you like your fiction with like a side of sort of historical facts, at least hopefully some of it is, that's what Almost American is about.
All right, next up is Telepaths. This is another one from Upshot. It is about an electromagnetic disturbance that results in half the world's population, or I'm sorry, a tenth. It's a big difference. Half. Half the world's population, I keep doing it, a tenth of the world's population getting telepathic powers. So it is kind of a police versus people with these powers story, but they're each the heroes of their own story. It's not like pitting them against each other. So it kind of tells you this in the solicitation, but they're going to come together, hopefully, and figure out a way to work through this. So, two very different groups of people and some forced powers.
Yeah, I see it's by Michael Straczynski, too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Very, very famous writer.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, got some cool covers. This is where we spotlight a lot of the variant covers and also just some cool other stuff, trades and hardcovers and fun stuff.
Issue 2s and 3s also, because we know a lot of times people forget to sign up for things, and they'll come in and be like, "Oh, you don't have this on the wall?" And it's issue 3, and it's like, "No, sorry, we only had this many people on poll, and we ordered double that."
Yep.
And so this is your opportunity to tell your store what books you like that you want to sign up for.
So first off is the variant for Dr. Aphra number 14. This is still part of War of the Bounty Hunters. Still a tie-in, but this is, of course, the Lucasfilm 50th anniversary tie-in. This time tying in, I believe this is episode 3 with Padme and Bail Organa on the cover. Really nice. I've liked all of these covers a lot. Then we have, I'm really excited about these because this is going to be a new series of variants they're doing. This is the Villanelli blueprint variants, and I know I've seen some of them coming up, that each of them are going to be a bounty hunter with like a blueprint of their ship on it. And a lot of times, like a lot of people don't know what the different bounty hunter ships look like, and they'll have a really cool, unique design. So this first one is Bosk with his ship, the Houndstooth. Really, really cool variant. So just like the 50th anniversary ones, it's going to be like a little series of variant covers. So.
See, that's a great idea. Like, I like Star Wars, but I don't know everything like you. So you're right. I mean, I don't know Bosk and his ship.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So I get to see all the bounty hunters and all their ships.
Yeah. I'm excited about these. I'm going to be getting all of these.
Okay.
And also, I didn't have to look up any of that information about what's his ship called or anything. I just knew that off the top of my head. And also, it's crazy how High Republic just goes back and forth if they're going to do variants or not.
I know.
Like, the first, 3 or 4 issues didn't do a B variant, and then suddenly they did, and then a couple more they didn't. It's just like whenever they feel like they have one that's really cool. And this one is really nice. So this is for High Republic number 9, and this is the Pagulayan. I can never pronounce his name, but I see it a lot. I read it a lot. I just can't pronounce it. But this one is also cool because since we're past the first story arc, this one actually picks up a little bit after the most recent novel that came out, where kind of a lot of the storyline got pushed forward, and now we're moving on to kind of part 2 or chapter 2 of the High Republic.
One thing I've noticed about the style and setting of the High Republic, they really like their earth tones.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big thing back in the High Republic days.
Yeah, a lot of browns, yellows,
tans.
Really nice.
Okay, so this is Fantastic Four number 35. This is the 60th anniversary Fantastic Four issue. So it is another quadruple issues. We're talking about 96 pages of comic.
That's like close to a trade.
Yeah. So, of course, this costs $9.99. So you're getting 4 times the comic for about double price.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good value in that way. Now, what are they going to fill these 96 pages with? I think they came up with a really good premise. It's Kang. So Kang the Conqueror and his, I think, 3 other versions of him attack the Fantastic Four in different eras. So I think they're going to, as they celebrate 60 years of Fantastic Four, show them at different points.
That's cool.
With different Kangs trying to destroy them all at once, simultaneously, but in different time periods. I think that's really
such a Fantastic Four story.
Yeah, it really is. So I think that's a very good premise. And this is the A cover, the Mark Brooks cover, which, he's done a lot of, he was doing the variants, but he's just so good. They're like, put him on the A cover. And then here we have the wraparound. This is by John Romita Jr., who is doing at least some of the interior work on this one.
Yeah, they've been really teasing, like, Romita Jr.'s back at Marvel, and he's doing Fantastic Four.
And lastly, here's a Jenny Frison variant. So as you can see, different versions.
Yeah, I
of the
love
Invisible
that.
Woman.
The classic, and then there's like the Future Foundation all white suit and
Yep.
everything. Really cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there are a lot of anniversaries and annuals and stuff
Yes.
happening this week. So, believe it or not, it is the 10th anniversary of Miles Morales. So, there are going to be some covers featuring him. So, this is Avengers 48. This is the Sousa Miles Morales 10th anniversary cover. And then we have the Captain Marvel number 32, the Nakayama Miles Morales 10th anniversary cover.
And you got the cat with him too.
Sure to see more of these coming out.
I'm interested in this because, you know, behind the scenes, we were supposed to have an issue of Miles Morales on this, but it got pushed.
Right.
And is this his new costume on this cover? Because if so, then this would be the first appearance of his new costume, rather than the actual issue it takes place in. It's hard to see. It's hard to see back here, too, with his knee up. But he is getting a new costume in the next issue of Miles Morales.
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
that is something to consider. I don't know. I can't quite
Could
tell
be considered
either.
the first cover appearance,
Yep.
maybe.
We're gonna have to look.
And
more
of that
into
cat being a spider cat.
Probably
That's
worth,
part of his costume.
He always has a cat on his
Yeah.
back.
Mhm.
probably worth picking up either way, just in case.
Also, great cover.
Yep.
Next up is our next issue of Suicide Squad, Get Joker. We had issue 1 come out this week. I have not read it yet, but Jason was a big fan of it.
That
when
was my pick of the week.
pick of the week.
Yep.
So, I mean, perfect timing too. DC knew what they were doing. Suicide Squad just dropped yesterday. So, definitely want to get this because also this is one of your like prestige format magazine size books, and I know if your store is like our store, those are a little bit harder to make room for and everything. So we don't order tons and tons and tons of these just because they take up a lot of space. So definitely let your store know that you want this and to be on this series because it's not very long, but definitely want to pick up issue number 2.
Yeah, and I mean, if you've read issue 1 and you know what's going on and what Joker holds over the team,
Mhm.
you're probably going to want to read issue number 2. I mean,
Yeah.
I do. I got to see where this goes now.
And in this one, they say that the Suicide Squad is going to be hunted by another Suicide Squad.
Huh.
So, what do you do when those get out of control? You just send another one
I
after them.
just wonder who's going to be behind that one.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
okay.
Read number 1, and
Yeah.
then you can speculate. And we also have the Fornes variant cover, which even Joker's skull has face paint on it.
It's very creepy, but them inside that eye is like a James Bond opening.
It does. It looks like you should like zoom in on it or
Yeah.
something.
Harley points her bat like the gun. Okay, so Batman Catwoman number 7 has a Jim Lee cover. They don't have the cover ready, but we know we have people at our store who order these sight unseen. If Jim
Mhm.
Lee does it, they want to order it. So we just want to make sure you know that this is a thing. But once again, when the covers aren't ready, when it's time to order, retailers don't order a lot. So you may want to make sure your store is getting that for you if you're a big Jim Lee fan. Oh, and then this issue of Batman Catwoman, Batman starts to question Catwoman's loyalties.
Mhm.
And she doesn't like that. So she locks him in a vault and calls the police. I kid you not. That's what it says in the
They
solicitation.
have very, very bad fights.
Yeah.
All right, this is Black Hammer Reborn number 3. So just as Jason was just saying, make sure you let your store know if you are enjoying this or put it on your list because orders may start to trickle down after this. This is the Stevenson cover. Of course, the series takes place 20 years after the original events of Black Hammer, and Lucy's just trying to live a normal life, but that is not happening. So once again, this is a B cover for Black Hammer Reborn.
Okay, next up is Impossible Jones number 1. So this is from Scout. The premise is there is a thief who accidentally gets superpowers. Then she's mistaken as a superhero, which she doesn't correct the mistake. She goes ahead and is like, yeah, I'm a superhero. But guess what? Even as she is doing some good, she's still secretly a criminal. So that's the premise. Superpowers, they think she's a hero, but really she's just using her powers to do more thieving. Because, if you have powers, why not use them to make a little bit of money? So it's sort of a anti-hero book. And I guess that's probably the name she goes by, Impossible Jones. So that is the premise of this new comic from Scout.
All right, and then we wanted to show off this beautiful Jenny Frison cover for Undiscovered Country number 15. This is the B cover. Didn't want it to fly under your radar. This may be something you just want to pick up if you like Jenny Frison, which I know a lot of folks do. So, yeah.
If you like flags, patriotism, or tattoos, or just good covers.
Yeah.
Real good cover.
Sepia tones.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is issue number 2 of a book I reviewed on our Tuesday show, and I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. This is Transformers King Grimlock number 2. Of course, it's about the Dinobot Grimlock getting transported to a D&D style fantasy world, but that doesn't stop him from doing what he does and being a Transformer that turns into a T-Rex. So, really cool. In this one, it talks about him fighting a bunch of big monsters and everything. And this is the Kyriazis variant.
Okay, so the last book you'll ever read is getting a second print of the number 1.
To be fair, I read this book, and I have read books since. So, a little bit of false advertising
It's not
there.
over yet. So
That's
wait till
true.
the last issue.
Yeah. So this is the second print for issue number 1. This sold very well in our store. It's by Cullen Bunn. The premise is, of course, there's a book that people read, and it changes their life. It changes everything they think, and it kind of seems like in maybe a negative way.
Yeah.
It seems that way.
It brings out their true self, which sometimes is not a good thing.
At the same time, also we're soliciting. This is issue number 2. So you can order number 1 second print, or this is issue number 2. So Olivia has hired Connor to be her guard. He's not read her book. He is supposed to guard her during this book tour. And as they're on the tour, things get more violent, things get more surreal, and Connor really has to start questioning, should he be doing this job at all, considering what this book is doing to people.
Yeah.
So if you like the issue number 1, here's your chance to order issue number 2 or sign up for the series. And we also have the variant cover. This is the variant cover by Hickman.
All right, next up is a new series from Action Lab. It is called Hath No Fury. It is about 2 powerful female leaders who must come together to help stop a tyrant. And there wasn't much in the solicitation here, but it does seem like they're from completely different ways of life, and they are going to have to overcome some barriers to be able to work together. Obviously playing off the phrase, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, so I'm assuming they are going to play along with that a little bit. So yeah, just a new Action Lab series. Didn't want to fly under your radar.
Next up is one that's also kind of hard to describe. This is Night of the Cadillacs. Number 1. This is a mix of horror, action, forbidden love, and street culture. And it's about rival supernatural gangs. They come to Earth on a raiding mission to retrieve life-restoring blood from humans. And during this, some of them escape and go on the run, and I don't know, it's getting a little like Romeo and Juliet vibes out of it as well. So, very interesting concept. I'm interested to see what the interior art looks like. If it looks like the cover, that's very unique. But yeah, another new number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, Geiger. All right, this is the end of the story arc, folks. This is Geiger number 6. We're going to show you some covers, but this is going to be a double-sized issue. Super cool. It is also going to have a preview of Jeff Johns and Gary Frank's next upcoming title in the Geigerverse. So maybe that's what this double-sized issue is all about.
I didn't even know they were doing a setting up the Geigerverse.
I didn't either. Wow, we learned things from our own show.
So yeah, this is if you're following the series, you're going to get this already. So, but yeah, just get extra excited about it. So let's see which cover you're going to pick. This is the B cover, the Bianchi variant.
This is cool because it looks like it looks like sort of Death or the Angel of Death, but radioactive, which is very scary.
Then we have the Eigel. This is the C cover. And then the Frank cover Cover D.
I got a lot of thoughts about now what could be in the Geigerverse, and knowing Jeff Johns, he knows how to build a universe. I mean, he's done it at DC for years and years now. I mean, Rebirth was a lot of his setup. New 52 was a lot of his building. He revitalized the Green Lantern, so I would keep an eye on this because, I mean, who knows what the Geigerverse could turn into. It could be Image's next big, you know, we were talking about crossover and everything.
Right.
This could be another hint at some kind of shared universe.
I have to say, this is the least amount of Geiger covers that have glowing on them.
Yeah.
Only the one had glowing. The last two didn't have any glowing. Wow. Okay, so now we're on our section of other printings and graphic novels, as the man down there says, as the Infinity Warrior, as we call him.
You can call him whatever you want. It's you. So.
Well, thank you. I do see some resemblance there.
So we did want to make you aware that this year Batman Day is happening. This very odd holiday celebrating one character. But so this is September 18th, I believe, is Batman Day. Very similar to Free Comic Book Day, but just more refined to just Batman. They're doing this, they call it like a special edition or something of Batman Fortnite 0.1. I'm guessing it may be just because it's using the variant cover or something. I couldn't find anywhere if this actually has a code in it.
Is it special edition is you get the book with no code.
With no code. It's special. We didn't say good special, but no. So if you missed out on getting that, these will be free at our store. I'm not sure. It's pretty much up to each individual store how they handle this, but make sure you tell your store that you want them to participate in Batman Day, because we also have a few other books that are coming out. Next up, this is a new one. This is Batman Nightwatch Battletech, or Bat Tech. And from what I could see with this, there's also going to be an app that goes along with it, and it's about Batman and his team. They're on the hunt for Clayface, and they're using a bunch of new Bat Tech styles. It kind of looks like an all-ages book. And then, which is also funny, this is Batman the World, which is a hardcover graphic novel coming out, but I believe this is like a little sampling of that in a, much smaller, more comic format.
Is that a Libremejo cover?
Mm-hmm.
I thought so. And so another thing with Batman Day, and they've done this in the past, is you see the symbol in the bottom right cover.
Mm-hmm.
I think, was it the last Batman Day or the one before where Harley Quinn took it over?
It was also
Yeah.
Harley's. I think it was a couple years back. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also her anniversary.
So those are going to be the free things that will be given away, and maybe your shop will as well. So next up, they're doing a new printing of Libremejo's Batman Noel. This is the funniest, most interesting Batman Christmas story. So Libremejo, he did everything for this. He did the cover, he did the art, he did the story, the interiors, the whole shebang. This is a retelling based on Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows it. Everyone's seen it with Scrooge and all that. Well, who's the Scrooge in this one? Is it the Joker? No, it's Batman. Batman goes through time to see the past, present, and future, and he has to fight villains along the way. The ghosts are represented by certain characters in the Bat family and villains. If you ever read this, I mean, it's just sort of a must-read, especially around the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Mull yourself some cider and read about that Scrooge Bruce Wayne.
There's something like Batman and Christmas go together really well, and I don't know if it's because like Gotham's always dark and cold and snowy and stuff, but it works really well.
I think so. So I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm guessing this must have been out of print, and so they decided to do another one. So it's $20. This will be out before Christmas. I think this releases early November, but you can get it in time, get some presents for people. So it's been a long time since I've given this one some thought.
Yeah, it's really good though.
Yeah.
There's no Batman punching Tiny Tim or retaliating against the Ghost of Christmas Present.
I hope not. I mean, you should give him a back crutch or something.
I mean, he's got all the money. He can do something.
All right, next up is Ultimate Comics Fallout #4. You guys recognize this cover. This is going to be the facsimile edition, so reprinting ads and everything. So one of the more modern ones to
It's
get
weird.
the facsimile treatment, but it is Miles Morales' 10th anniversary, as we talked about earlier, so it makes sense they're going to reprint his first appearance here. So a lot of chance, that a lot of us will only get to get this comic. So yeah, pick it up if you want. Maybe a good one to get a couple of. Get it graded. Just have it.
These facsimiles are great also to test your local comic store to see if they know what they're doing. You know, you just go in, you're like, look what I got. How much is it worth?
Right.
And, you know, if they say over cover price, then you know they need more training.
Also, it's going to be funny since his first appearance was 10 years ago. You look in and you be like, there's ads for semi-recent movies.
Yeah.
Not the fun old ads of X-ray specs. But this is a really good read, and I think this is a good one. I know that we're going to get quite a bit of them.
Yeah,
it's just
for
a
sure.
good, like, all-time book to have on the
Yes.
shelf.
Yeah. I mean, the knee-jerk reaction is when you see this cover, you buy it. So
Yeah.
that's just going to happen.
Next up is Moon Knight #1. This is the second printing. I said in one of our other shows, we ordered heavy on Moon Knight and still sold out of everything. Every variant cover, everything. Because people are just ready for more Moon Knight. So definitely want to jump on this #1 second printing. This is the McNiven cover. Really, really cool.
And, you know, there is a first appearance in this of a character who I predict is going to be a pretty major character to the Moon Knight mythos. I think it adds. So that's why I'm grabbing the second print for sure. I'm actually grabbing a few of them.
I know we say it a lot, too. We're always like, oh, TV shows and stuff. But Moon Knight has a very small rogues gallery and stuff. And most of the time kind of borrows from other people, like Spider-Man and Daredevil and Werewolf by Night, that kind of thing. So that they're creating new characters for just Moon Knight has to say something about them really wanting to build this up, and could translate to movies and TV shows and everything.
Mm-hmm. All right, so next up, this is Phantom Starkiller #1 4th print. So I guess people are still looking for more printings of that #1. Well, awesomely enough, they did a great cover on this, and it is glow in the dark. So if you looked at it and you thought, wow, that would look cool if it glowed in the dark, it will. But I think this is one most stores are not going to order a ton of. So, you know, again, ask your store to order it for you. You have, with us, until Sunday. I think most stores kind of do it that way, too. So.
Alright, so you've given up hope on finding that white #1 first print. Here you find yourself, you were like, I'm not buying the second print, I'm going to find the first. No, here we are, third printing of white #1. Not a cover for it yet, but it'll be here soon.
Limited printing to 2 copies.
This is a follow-up series from Black, same creator and all that. So this is following into the next one as well. This is white #2 second printing, also on FOC this week. So once again, a lot of folks, I don't even know if we got any #2s. I can't even remember. But
I don't think #2's out yet.
I don't know. I don't expect to. This is so heavily allocated.
We don't expect to open a box and see any #2s.
Yeah. So definitely, if you are interested in reading this series, jump on these later printings. Who knows, if you're wanting to get some value out of it, that might come to pass as well. But either way.
And who knows, these might be the greatest covers of your life.
Yeah.
Might be. Nobody knows.
Next up is, this is funny, they're putting out this quite a bit later than the series ended. This is Kaiju Score #1 third printing. We actually got an email from Aftershock to be like, hey, we didn't forget, you know, we were talking about Kaiju Score being a really big deal and, you know, option for movies and everything. And they're like, that's still in production. And then this comes out, and this is limited to only 2,000 copies. So more than saying, hey, order this, you can ask for it, and we will try to do like what we did with White. You know, we'll get in as many copies as we can, and then, you know, put your name in a hat and divvy them up fairly. But just wanted to inform you that you might not be able to get this. but it is something that is coming out.
Yeah, and I mean, Kaiju Score is hot because of that movie announcement. The number one, I think, has moved up to like a $20 to $30 book, and so everybody's chasing this. So this is, we don't just do this show to sell stuff. We do this show to inform you. We're letting you know what this is. We're letting you know there's only 2,000 copies. And so don't get mad at your store when they tell you we can't get it or we didn't even get any. There's more than 2,000 stores out there.
Yep.
So why do they do this? I don't know. Okay, so Red Room number 1 has a second printing, as you can see on the screen. It will apparently be a sketch cover. It's not ready yet. The people who are enjoying Red Room are a ravenous group. I never want to gather them in one spot, though, based on the content of that book. So this is us being nice to them. Don't hurt us. Just ask us for the second printing. You will get it. They didn't limit the printing on this one because, once again, they know what a crazed group of people you are. So
next up is one I actually asked if I could talk about this one. This is a very weird one, but this is Garbage Man, a trade paperback, probably a character you've never heard of. So a few years ago, I was actually working at a different comic book store, and this series came out from DC, and it was called My Greatest Adventure. And it had 3 little stories in it over the course of the miniseries. The big selling point of it was one of the stories was Lobo. There was another story, and then one of the stories was Garbage Man by Aaron Lopresti. And basically just think of Swamp Thing, but he's made of garbage. It's a little toxic Avenger, toxic Crusader, but it's really fun. The character style is really cool. And now it seems like Aaron Lopresti got the rights back to it, and he can use this character more. So I read it when it came out, and I just wanted to say how much fun I had with it. And I still have those issues, and they're not worth anything. But I was like, I don't want to get rid of this because Garbage Man is just too cool. At the end of it, he ended up teaming up with Batman in Gotham. And I'm like, I don't know how they're going to reprint that, but definitely want to check out Garbage Man. My recommendation.
All right, Stray Dogs is finally getting a trade paperback. This is going to be $17. This is, of course, the Doggers. This is described as Lady and the Tramp meets Silence of the Lambs. A huge surprise hit for everybody. It's gone up and up in value. It's had all those later printings with the horror homage covers. So you guys have heard a lot about this. If you want a friend to read it, or if you don't want to crack open your now probably expensive books anymore, it is time to pick up the trade paperback. Of course, this is the suspense thriller by the My Little Pony artists. So, $17, get the trade of Stray Dogs.
All right, available for order. This is Sonic the Hedgehog Encyclospedia.
Oh,
I'm not making that up. That's what they call it, the Encyclospedia. This is the deluxe edition. So it's a hardcover edition. It costs, for the deluxe edition, it's $80. But for that, you get the book, which goes over all the characters, the settings. It's all about the games, though. This is not about the comics. This is about all the Sonic games from the beginning on. Character settings and stories of the games. You also get it has a special mosaic cover. It has a clamshell gold rings case, a folio with 2 prints, one of Sonic and one of Dr. Eggman. So that's in the deluxe version. Now, if you don't want to spend the $80 and you just want the book, you can get the non-deluxe version of the book for just $50. So, again, I don't see stores ordering oodles of these. You probably need to ask for it.
You probably need to order it because it's going to go fast.
There we go. It's like
I was thinking about that
go fast.
since you started talking about it. Next up, Plants vs. Zombies. People may have not known that this series has been going on for a really long time. I mean, that game came out like early days of the App Store and stuff. But they are collecting it in Plants vs. Zombies Zomnibus. It's a play off Omnibus, if you didn't catch that. This is a hardcover, volume 1. So I believe this is only $20 for the big omnibus of it. It's really fun, great for all ages, people who love playing the game. But then we have coming out Plants vs. Zombies Dream a Little Scheme, which is a whole new graphic novel in the Plants vs. Zombies averse. And this is actually volume 19. That's how long this has been going on.
So I just noticed with this cover, they're plants and they're asleep, but look at the sheets. Their sheets are dirt with roots. You know,
Are they?
like it's like ground that they're
I
sleeping
think
in.
that's a shadow.
That's the shadow
Yeah,
of
that's
the
a shadow.
zombie.
You're looking at too tiny of a
Oh,
picture.
okay. I see.
But it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, they
I
should have
like
went
my idea.
with the dirt.
I do. I like my idea.
No, they just sleep in normal beds like normal humans, but they're plants.
All right, this is super cool. This is $55. It is the Umbrella Academy box set. It's going to collect all 3 trade paperbacks of the Umbrella Academy. So really nice as a gift. Just put it on your library shelf, whatever. So really cool little box set here for $55. That's it.
Okay, I believe, the second to last thing we're going to show is they're doing Falcon and Winter Soldier, this sort of special edition. It's just a one-shot magazine-style book. It's going to have interviews with the cast and crew. It's going to have exclusive images and concept art, all from the show. And when they do these books, they like to give you lots of options. So this one comes in 3 different soft covers with different covers. I'll show you in a moment, for $13 a piece. And then there's one hardcover version that's $20. So this is the first one. This is so $13 for the soft cover on this. Here is the hardcover edition that is $20. And then we have 2 other soft cover editions. So I say $13, it's $12.99.
Yeah.
I mean, just, unless you're afraid of being unlucky by paying $13. It's basically $13 for this one, and this is the previews exclusive one. So I believe that's the one that you can only get through comic stores like us. And then here is the last one.
So they've been doing this kind of stuff. They did it with season 1 of The Mandalorian. They're cool, like little wrap-up books to explore behind the scenes.
Yep.
Next up is From the Reckless Universe by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. You want to get the next installment of this. It's kind of their first ongoing graphic novel series. This one is Destroy All Monsters. So brand new book. If you've been collecting all of these, you'll definitely want to ask your store to get you this next one.
All right, guys. Well, that is our show for this week. A lot of stuff for you to consider whether you want to order it or not. So yeah, just let your store know. And if we happen to be that store, or if you need a shop, you can contact us. We're going to put some info up on the screen. And as we said earlier, make sure to subscribe to our channel, like our pages and such, so you can get all the info and get notifications about upcoming stuff.
All right. Well, thank you, and we will see you next time on Comics from the Future.